counting is also underway in Ecuador's presidential and parliamentary elections. Security was tight through the day with 100,000 police officers and soldiers deployed. Well, let's bring in our guest, Javier Farje, who's a political analyst, joins us now live from London. Of course, we were speaking just a short time ago about what we thought might happen, and now we've got some real surprises coming in the vote.
Yes, unlike Guatemala, where this result is very clear, in Ecuador it isn't. At the moment, Luisa Gonzalez, who represents the party of former President Rafael Correa, has 33% of the votes. I'm checking the official figures. Daniel Noboa, the surprise of this election, 24% of the vote. And Christian Zurita, the candidate who replaced Fernando Villavicencio, who was murdered, who was assassinated on the 9th of August, has got 16% of the vote. And Jan Topic, a hardline candidate who wants to implement the same policies that President Nayib Bukele implements in El Salvador, controversial ones, 14%. Mr. Noboa, a 35-year-old businessman with not a clear plan and about in relation to what he wants to do in government, is a big surprise, and he's very likely, as your correspondent said right, as your editor said rightly so, likely to get the votes of the other two candidates. Christian Zurita represents a party of Fernando Villavicencio. Fernando Villavicencio investigated former President Rafael Correa in 2014 for alleged cases of corruption, and Mr. Villavicencio was sentenced to 18 months in prison for insulting the president. He absconded, turned up again in 2017, and continued his campaign against President Correa. So there's no way that those who voted for Mr. Zurita, who replaced Mr. Villavicencio, will vote for Luisa Gonzalez, who represents Mr. Correa.
OK,
so
if that's the case, can I just jump in there? So just for our international viewers, obviously they'll need sort of to be slowly understanding what's unfolding in Ecuador right now. What is Mr. Noboa saying, or what has he said during his election campaign, do you think, that's resonated with the public to get him into second place at the moment if the results stand as they do?
Yes, because he appealed to the young vote. Those votes of people who are very unhappy with the political system in Ecuador, they're disenfranchised. He appeals to those votes. Less than an hour ago, he gave a press conference when he talked about, once again, the young vote. He wants to appeal to young people. He's a young entrepreneur, 35 years old, but also he said that he was prepared to talk to Jan Topic, the hardline candidate who wants to implement harsh policies in relation to crime, to talk about security. So he's appealing to the young vote, but also he's appealing to the people who are very disappointed and afraid because of the way crime has grown in Ecuador, especially because of the presence of gangs within the country who work for the Mexican drug cartels. So he's appealing to both the young people, those who want, he talks about education for everybody, he talks about chances, opportunities for everybody, apprenticeship, but also he is appealing to the people who are afraid of the current security situation by saying that he will be prepared to talk to Jan Topic on issues related to security. That is the key of his speech, and he reiterated that less than an hour ago in a press conference that he offered just to celebrate in many ways his second place in this election.
In terms of the violence leading up to this vote and the assassination of a presidential candidate, how much do you think, in your opinion, has that focused the public's attention on what they think really does matter, and that's, you know, the general safety that everybody assumes they can have in a democratic state?
Oh, very much so. I have never seen, I've covered Ecuador many times for many years for other broadcasting organizations. I have never seen the levels of violence that there is in Ecuador. There has never been like that in Ecuador. There is a few gangs, very powerful gangs, who work for the Mexican drug cartels. These gangs gather the coca leaf that is used to prepare cocaine and to be sold by the Mexican drug dealers, the Mexican drug cartels. That level of violence is well organized, well armed, well funded, and that has created a lot of uncertainty in Ecuador. They control the jails, they control parts of the country, they control a great deal of the economy because they have a lot of money, and that has become a big issue for Ecuador. Ecuador was an extremely peaceful country. You would go there and it was a joy to be there. Now people are afraid of going out in the street, and that's something that's something that didn't happen before. And of course, Mr. Noboa is appealing to the people who are feel insecure, feel unsafe, but also he's appealing to younger people who want change. But crime is going to be is important in this particular case.
Okay.
President Correa, when Correa was president, he suspended cooperation with the U.S. Now Noboa will probably come back to the U.S. and say, help us fight crime as it happened before Mr. Correa was president.
Well, we shall see what happens. For the moment, Javier Farje joining us from London. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.